Hi guys, Brian Buckosh here, core design engineer for Brunswick Bowling. As you can see, I have a fancy new intro that brings my production quality from like a 0 to a 3. I'm here tonight to talk to you about two new releases in the Brunswick series, the Igniter Solid and the Igniter Pearl. This is a new nameplate for Brunswick, and it's a replacement for the Edge series. If you remember, with the Edge and the Cutting Edge, it had a lower differential of the original Melee core. And then, with the Jagged Edge series, they changed to a new Brink symmetrical core, which had a .043 differential. The Brink symmetrical core is the same core found here in the Igniter series, and that .043 differential gives these balls a nice medium flare potential, because remember, differential controls track flare, and in general, total hook. Now the difference between the Jagged Edge series and this new Igniter series is that these igniters are wrapped in the Relativity 3.0 cover stock. The Relativity 2.0 cover stock was on the Jagged Edge series, and this new update gives these balls new additives to the original Relativity base cover that allows them to read the mid lane and traction on the back end better without sacrificing any length down the lane. Now, if you remember the original Relativity cover, it was found on the Mastermind series, and it was in some other fan favorite bowling balls like the Melee Hook, the Quantum Black remake, and the Method. So if you liked any of those covers, then there's a strong possibility that you're going to like this new and improved version on the Igniter series. Now, I've made a new hook chart to represent how these igniters fit in with the rest of the Brunswick lineup. Now I'm going to take a moment to explain this chart because it's a little different than other charts that you've seen. Instead of the y-axis being from most smooth to most angular as you go from bottom to top, this one is categorized into three distinct categories that represent the categories of ball motion. On the bottom, smooth continuous. In the middle, angular back end. And on the top, early strong mid lane. Now there are two other categories in between that bridge those three categories. For example, hard arc is halfway between smooth continuous and angular back end, and late strong mid lane kind of bridges the gap between being an early reading strong mid lane ball and an angular ball. This chart contains all of the releases from Brunswick from January onward, and the Rhino and the Twist, which are staples of the Brunswick line. Highlighted in yellow are our two new releases. The Igniter Solid fits firmly in the medium category in terms of the amount of volume it can handle, and can either have a smooth, continuous motion or a hard arc, depending on the player style and the layout chosen. This ball excels on drier house shots where there's defined friction but lots of volume in the front of the lane, and also flatter patterns that play on the shorter or drier side. The Igniter Pearl doesn't handle quite as much volume as the Igniter Solid does, but certainly has more on the back end. This ball excels on drier house shots with defined hook spots and late day breakdown on sport shots and house shots when you want to send the ball into a lot of friction and get good recovery without getting a lot of overreaction. If the Melee Jab SE was on this chart, I would argue that this ball has similar back end reaction to the Jab SC, but the Igniter doesn't handle quite as much volume as that ball does overall. So that's the info that I have on the new Brunswick releases. If you enjoyed this, make sure you're liking my page, share these videos around, and I'll see you next time with more information on the latest releases from the Brunswick family of products. Thanks for watching.